Good morning. It's day 30. Oh, this is the big one. This is the big day. This is the kitchen clean out your pantry day. Pantry and fridge. This is the get serious day. If you are planning a clean, low carb life, there's got to become a point where you stop dabbling, right? You stop just learning and dipping your toe and testing this out and testing that out, and you go for it. You get serious. So when you have made that decision, when you know why, you are ready to give up sugar and refined grains and starches, and uh, you're going to avoid additives. You're going to prioritize protein and natural fat. You're eating real food for real health, and you're getting the ultra processed foods out of your life. Well, you need to get them out of your kitchen and set aside a little time for this, but also have some fun with it. I, I like the idea of being organized. I like organizing. I don't like keeping things organized. I'm not so good at the follow through, but it's very exciting at the start. So for me, I opened up, I say pantry. I don't have a pantry. I have a kitchen cabinet with the food in it. I have kitchen cabinets with the mugs and with the glasses and with the bowls. And then there's the one with the food. So take it all out. Take out everything. Oh, and not just that cabinet. How about that snack drawer? Do you have a snack drawer? Open up the snack drawer. Take everything out and pitch it. Pitch it. Get rid of all of the contraband. If you can't bear the thought of throwing away a perfectly good bag of pretzels, all right, mark your calendar. Decide the clean out day will be this coming weekend, and finish off the contraband. I don't really recommend that, but you have to put yourself in the state where, yeah, you are going to throw away quote unquote perfectly good food. But think about it this way: it's not perfectly good food. It's damaging food. And yes, you spent perfectly good money on it, but there's nothing that can be done about that now. I had a full bottle of vegetable oil, and I had a moment where I hesitated and I thought, should I put this in the bag to donate to the food pantry? And I thought, I don't want to give them this shite either. Pardon my language. I don't. I don't want anyone to be eating any of this. So you have to kind of get in that warrior mindset. Then there are some things for me were a little difficult. I had canisters. Do you have canisters on your counter for flour, for sugar, for tea? And mine were huge. I mean, that flour canister is holding 5 pounds of flour. They're taking up all this space, and I wasn't going to use any of that anymore. So I cleaned them up and gave those away. On the other hand, I was going to be using almond flour and swerve and powdered swerve. So I had a little shopping trip. I am lucky to have a lovely TJ Maxx Home Goods in my town. And I picked up those little pop top canisters. The ones that are so much fun, that remind you of playing Trouble when you were a kid. Anybody out there know what I mean? Like just pushing that little bubble. That was the whole fun of the game, right? And this reminds me of that. Get a few. Don't make them too big. It is best to store almond flour in your fridge and swerve in your fridge. So when they're unopened in the bag, they're fine in the drawer. But once you open them, I put them in one of these little pop-top canisters and store them in the fridge. But then in the pantry, I had to make room for xanthan gum. It doesn't take too much space, but xanthan gum. And there were staples that I have that I don't recall using very often because I wasn't cooking very often, like baking powder. I pull that out just for throwing a quarter teaspoon into my my mug bread. I'll grab it pretty often. Other things. So anyway, decide what you're going to put in your fridge, what you're going to put in your pantry. Clean out everything. Throw away everything, especially the chocolates, the candies, the cookies, all of that, but also the ingredients. I don't know about you. If something is in the house that I have a little obsession with, at one time that was a bag of Smart Food. It's not safe. I'm eating it. I'm eating that whole thing within 2 days. So I have to get it out. Now, what about if you're not the only one living at your house? What about anybody else that might be there that might not want you throwing away their food? The mister is a little bit on the journey with me in that I cook the dinners and he eats them happily because they're very simple recipes, but they're good. They really are good. And he enjoys them. But that's not to say he won't walk to the corner store and get himself a box of Junior Mints on occasion. That's fine. You're going to do that. You take the walk. But there are other things he doesn't want to have to leave the house to grab. So we set aside one shelf and one pantry for one cabinet for kind of the naughty things. That sounds terrible. Honestly, I'm looking what's in there right now. On what ended up, it was pretty clean initially, and it just had some of the, what did he even put in there? Like, he's a golfer, so he'll like to throw a protein bar in his bag, things like that, right? That I'm not going to eat. So he had his shelf. I did get to a point, I must confess, and if you've heard me before, you might know this already. I have made goodies on special occasions. Irish soda bread for St. Patrick's Day. I didn't eat it, but I've got a tradition of giving it to my loved ones, so I made a few loaves. So for that, I needed regular flour and sugar. And I started trying to buy small exact quantities, but it's kind of hard to do and a little expensive. So I did make room at the back of this contraband cabinet for what's left over after I make the naughty recipes. And for the most part, I just never go in there. I never think about it. It's not an issue. The easy ones, you've already done. You've already swapped out the margarine and brought in the butter. I hope you've already thrown away your vegetable oil and got yourself some avocado oil for high heat cooking and olive oil. But now really go through all those cabinets, look at the labels. You've got nuts. They're on my yes list, except, if they're flavored nuts, check that label. They're probably roasted in a vegetable oil, and there's probably added sugar. So get rid of those and replace them with the good stuff, because this is the day to get serious. And it's hard to fall off the wagon if you don't have the booze in the house. We're not talking about booze right now, but you understand. Hey, I'm Eileen. I reversed the worst of my early Alzheimer symptoms through a clean low-carb diet. And I've been talking about my 30 baby steps for clean low-carb living on my sunrise walk and talks. This is day 30. I guess this is graduation day. Thank you for spending time with me. Thank you for liking, sharing, commenting on my video. Are you subscribed? Where are we going next? I'm not sure. Check the description for links to anything I've got going on. And until next time, stay strong, wise, kind, and good. Choose good food for good health.